News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A deadly misunderstanding in Billings takes a young man's death. Good morning. Takes a young man's life, rather. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, May 19th, 2015. The sky's cloudy. Right now we have 41 degrees in Missoula. This newscast is sponsored by Dig It Excavating, bringing 30 years of excellence to every job. 214-4292 is the number. Billings police say a startled boy fired a shot through his bedroom window and killed a 15-year-old friend was just trying to wake him. The Billings Police Department statement, released yesterday, provides the first details about what led to the early Sunday shooting. Captain John Bedford identified the victim as McKeon Schulte. The statement says Schulte and another boy showed up at their friend's house about 2:30 Sunday morning. They knocked on his window and then threw pebbles to try to wake him. Police say the unnamed boy was startled and didn't recognize the faces outside the window. He fired a gun that was in his bedroom, striking the victim in the head. No arrests have yet been made. The Billings Gazette reports authorities are meeting with prosecutors to try to determine how to proceed. A girl who was gored by a bison wasn't the only incident to occur in Yellowstone National Park over the past week. Park spokeswoman Amy Bartlett said on May 10th, a man fell into the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone.
A 71-year-old man from New York was attempting to take a picture there at Grand View in the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and he was moving back trying to get the sign in the viewfinder and stumbled backwards over a stone barrier into the canyon. He fell approximately 25 feet and was able to stop himself by bracing his body and feet on opposing sides of a crevice.
A nearby visitor saw the man fall and quickly called authorities.
About 17 people in total were involved in this rescue, and they were able to actually send somebody down over the edge to descend to the man's location and pull him back up. He was extremely lucky with where he actually fell. If he had fallen just a couple inches to the left, he actually probably would not have been able to stop himself. It was mostly steep scree, loose rock.
The man was taken to a hospital for hip injury. A further condition unknown. His name was not released. A Missoula mall is facing a lawsuit from the owner of a Christian bookstore who says his business was discriminated against when he wasn't allowed to open up shop. The Missoulian reports Michael Burks wanted to turn his hockey shop into a Garden of Eden bookstore during the summer months. To help him meet a Southgate Mall requirement, the tenants remain open during mall hours. The hockey club, called the Missoula Maulers, experiences a seasonal drop in sales during the summer. And Burks says he tried to open the bookstore to try to stay open and in compliance. Burks claims in the lawsuit the mall denied his request, calling the bookstore, quote, a financial risk, end quote. Mall manager Tim Winger did not comment on the lawsuit, saying the mall has yet to be served. In two separate cases before Judge Karen Orzech in Missoula Justice Court yesterday, two women were charged with assault, one with a baseball bat against a former boyfriend. Court documents indicate on Saturday, 45-year-old Heather Portner allegedly struck her former boyfriend with a baseball bat after driving to his home in Lolo. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Celine Kepke explained why she asked Judge Orzech for bail to be set at $5,000.
We believe she may be a danger to the community and the victim. The defendant may have some mental health issues, and someone has been sending some odd texts to the victim in this case. It may not be the defendant, but the victim indicated that the text did stop once the defendant was in custody.
The second woman, 30-year-old Justine Smith, is accused of felony aggravated burglary and misdemeanor criminal mischief and assault after allegedly breaking down the door of a residence on South 14th Street in Missoula Friday, May 15th, and assaulting the man inside. Kepke asked Judge Orzech for a much higher bail in this case.
It looks like Miss Smith was currently out on bail for $10,000 on a felony endangering the welfare of a child case, and she's now looks like she's got an aggravated burglary charge. State recommends a $25,000 bail.
Orzech set bail at $20,000. Smith was remanded back to the jail. Federal officials are warning about the dangers of inhaling chemicals at oil wells following the deaths of 9 workers over the last 5 years. All the deaths involved workers at crude production tanks. Colorado and North Dakota each had 3 deaths. Texas, Oklahoma, and Montana each had 1. The industry says the sudden rise in deaths could be linked to the number of inexperienced workers brought into work during the energy boom. The city of Missoula is enforcing the Click It or Ticket Zero Tolerance campaign through May 31st to encourage seatbelt usage and enhance traveling safety over the Memorial Day weekend. Traffic Sergeant Greg Amundsen with the police department says Click It or Ticket is part of a national campaign.
The Click It or Ticket campaign is actually part of a national campaign campaign that lots of law enforcement agencies are involved in nationwide to try to convince people to wear seatbelts while they're driving on the highways and locally as well.
Amundsen said because the seatbelt ticket is a secondary violation, the driver would have to be pulled over for another offense before a ticket could be issued.
It means if we stop you for not wearing your seatbelt, you are going to get a ticket for it. We're not going to be giving warnings. There is no exception to the fact that it's a secondary offense, so we will have to have some other reason to stop you.
Law enforcement agencies around the country will be stepping up enforcement from now through the 31st, just ahead of one of the busiest travel weekends of the year. A Wisconsin man has been ordered to pay more than $2,300 for mistakenly shooting and killing a grizzly bear up in northwestern Montana. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks officials said yesterday that Richard Kutcher thought the animal he shot May 16th was a black bear and not a grizzly. Grizzly bears are listed as a threatened species and are illegal to hunt. Kutcher pleaded guilty in Flathead County District Court. 5 Washington men will be paying fines for their roles in a series of poaching incidents in the Rocky Mountain front. Montana Game Warden Brian Goley has been investigating the case for a year and explains how he first got involved.
An individual hiking around on a ranch was able to find some carcasses that were very suspicious to him in nature, and he notified the landowner, who of course notified the game warden, saying, that there was something going on, and went up to the property and found these suspicious kill sites, which turned out to be bull elk.
Investigators found human DNA on one of the elk and were able to track the poachers by finding the list of hunters in the area from a nearby check station. After confiscating a computer with photos of the 6 different poaching incidents, investigators had the evidence they needed.
Through the court process and through the county attorney, we pled this down to misdemeanors, high misdemeanors, which is still very serious in the state, to $8,000 restitution for the elk and then $2,000 fines for the individuals, and loss of privileges for 5 years. It was $41,000 total.
And speaking of elk numbers are up again at the Bitterroot Valley south of Missoula. The Ravalli Republic reports that Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks officials have spotted over 8,000 elk in the valley and surrounding mountains this year. Biologist Rebecca Mowry counted the elk on 25 flights over a 5-week period. Last year, she counted 7,300 during the same flights. Our news talk time now is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Breezy conditions will keep us on the warm side as we head into the rest of the morning, and then pushing our way up into the upper 60s as we head into the afternoon with a mixture of clouds and sun. I'm meteorologist Mac Ray for KCI 13, your first alert station.